All right, Indian Wells 2023 is about to go down. They call it the fifth slam, although I don't know if it should be considered that anymore, because for the last number of years, the top best GOAT of all time players haven't been there, including Novak Djokovic, who is not there again this year in Indian Wells because of pretty ridiculous rules right now, if you ask me. So Novak Djokovic will not be in Indian Wells, taking away the best player in the world from the tournament, but leaving lots of opportunity for the younger guys, again, to have a shot at a Masters 1000 title. I think we saw Hubert Hurkacz win it. We've seen Cam Norrie win it in 2021, 2022. We saw Taylor Fritz, as you saw on the Netflix documentary. So we're going to get into the draw. We're going to get into the feeling of this tournament being a little deflated. And I'm going to let you know what Djokovic and I have in common when it comes to this tournament being Indian Wells in the Garden. Great tournament. Would love to be there, but we're not. Here's the slice, and let's get into it. All right, spicy intro time, a little bit of pent-up energy, as you might be able to tell. Welcome back to The Slice, people, your home and destination for tennis news, reviews, commentary, analysis. If you're here and if you haven't yet respected the gentleman's agreement, which is, if you're going to watch The Slice, you got to subscribe. We check on everyone in that we don't check on anyone. But if you're going to watch the channel, the gentleman's agreement is that you just throw us a subscribe. That's the free thing you can do to help our channel in response for all of the content that we provide, which is, I think, a very, very fair deal. So thank you guys for supporting the channel. Yeah, what Djokovic and I have in common when it comes to tennis is not being allowed to be at Indian Wells. Djokovic is unvaccinated, and for some reason, still in 2023, the U.S. is not allowing unvaccinated people in. And I don't think this is a big deal in the grand scheme of things. COVID was very, very serious, and that's that. And I understand a lot of the rules, but I haven't even heard the word COVID in 2023 from anyone that I know of. I haven't even thought about it. I actually did have COVID in November before coming here. But this video might not get any views because we said COVID so many times. But the point is, Djokovic is not able to play there, and the Slice is not able to be media there or do what we do because the tournament seems to have it out for us and not giving us an accreditation, even though we are one of the biggest YouTube channels in the tennis space. And, you know, you guys are fans, love our content, and we have got lots of credentials at other tournaments, but it's the closest tournament to us that's major or that's large, and we don't get credentials year after year after year, which sucks. So that's my beef with Indian Wells. We'll see how it goes this year, but it does have the feeling of being a little deflated from the beginning, doesn't it, people? Doesn't it? It's unfortunate. Djokovic can't play. Indian Wells actually did want him to be there, so I'll give them that. They wanted Djokovic, obviously, to be there for their own interest, but it was the federal government, I believe, that did not, it still hasn't lifted the rule that you have to be vaccinated to vacation or travel into the country. So Djokovic not allowed to play. Rafa Nadal also not playing there. So yeah, a little bit of a deflated feeling. What do you guys think? I don't know. For me, it just makes a little invisible question mark beside the winner because you're like, well, you won, but you didn't have to play Djokovic, which we've had to say that type of thing for so many tournaments in the last 3 years. It's getting super annoying. It's making things feel exhibition-like. And I don't want these huge tournaments like Indian Wells, which is an insanely awesome venue and, you know, great tournament, should carry a lot of importance. But it really seems in the last 3 years that this tournament almost has no importance in the grand scheme of things in the year. Obviously, it does for points for players, but it still seems like the main storylines are who's winning the slams. And I wish it was more robust than that. So anyways, with all that pity party for us, let's get into the draw here. We're going to do the ATP draw because that's all I got time for. I'm leaving right now. I'm moving or I'm traveling. And we're going to do the ATP draw here. And we're going to first take a look at the quarterfinals. So Alcaraz versus Felix Auger-Aliassime is the top quarterfinal potential. Alcaraz is a question mark. Is he going to play? Is he fully healed? We don't know. I said last time on the show, I hope he's not another Spanish all-time great who's injury prone. We don't want to see Rafael Nadal 2.0 in the injury category. That's for sure. So I hope he's healed up and doesn't push it with his knee into this tournament, because he could play Felix, our guy, in the quarterfinals, which would be awesome. Taylor Fritz could play Holger Rune in the quarterfinals there. That's tough for defending champ Taylor Fritz, who could lose a lot of points if he goes down early. So he'll have that added pressure of being the defending champ as well as just being an American. And this is kind of his home tournament, he would say. And then on the bottom half, we got Medvedev versus Ruud potential. Ruud, I could see doing well in this court, big time, for sure. Slower, higher bouncing, typically hard court. And Ruud, I think, is due for a good result after he's been struggling as of late. Or Rublev versus Tsitsipas could follow up in the bottom quarterfinal and could set a spicy little I think it's the first time they would have played since the time that Tsitsipas said he used his few weapons that he has against me. And actually, Medvedev brought that up in the winner's speech in Dubai when he beat Rublev, and he said, whoever said that, isn't correct. And it was pretty funny. So look that up. It's probably on Tennis TV, bro. Insiders will get that joke. Anyways, here, let's look at the actual draw together, break it down quarter by quarter. You know how we do it. So yeah, we got Carlos Alcaraz potentially playing Thanasi Kokkinakis or Brandon Holt. Both of those super interesting. Kokkinakis obviously has a history of being a super dangerous player. Then we got Dan Evans, the 24th seed, Cranial Busta, Andy Murray in this quarter of Casper or of Carlos Alcaraz, as well as Guido Pella. That's a name we haven't seen forever. His wife infamously commented on the Slice's Instagram picture one time when we tagged him. Talon Griekspoor in that quarter with Carlos Alcaraz. Dang, these draws are big too. So we got actually Hubert Hurkacz as well in his quarter. Popyrin, Tommy Paul, who's the 17th seed, who's really risen up the ranks and been playing awesome tennis. So he will look to continue doing that. Yeah, nice quarter here. A lot of talent. And then it's capped off by Felix Auger-Aliassime. As we said, that could be the potential quarterfinal matchup for Alcaraz, but Felix would have to go through Hubert Hurkacz, Tommy Paul. Those are probably the two most likely players he'd play in the fourth round. So yeah, pretty talent-packed first quarter. You got the Taylor Fritz quarter. He could play compatriot Ben Shelton in the second round if Ben Shelton is able to take out Fabio Fognini. Mikael Ymer in there. Sebastian Baez still holding on to seeding at these tournaments. Borna Coric really fought his way amazingly back into the top 20 there. Marton Fucsovics trying to do the same thing. Alex de Minaur there. Great result in obviously winning Acapulco. And then we got Yannick Sinner, the 11th seed in that second quarter. Dangerous player, of course. Dominic Thiem with the wild card against Adrian Mannarino. That's a win. That's a winnable match for Thiem. He needs desperately to get some wins here. He needs to beat Mannarino and then beat Musetti and then beat Sinner somehow to really feel like he's getting back in the right direction, because it's been a while, man. It's been a while. It's tough. It's tough if you're a fan of Dominic Thiem like we are here on the channel. Then we got Miomir Kecmanovic and Holger Rune rounding out that quarter. Then the Medved quarter, who is coming off obviously 3 titles in a row, beating Djokovic in Dubai. Just really, you could arguably say the best, hottest player on hard court right now. He could play Botic van de Zandschulp in the third round. We got RBA in there. We got Zverev in his 8th. Garin Khachanov in his quarter as well. And then, yeah, that's capped off by Casper Ruud. Like I said, Casper Ruud, I think, could do some damage here in Indy Wells. He always does play well on the slower surfaces. Obviously, that give to his spin. So he's going to be looking to do that. Friend of the show, Casper Ruud, looking for a result. Andre Rublev, not his quarter. That's the Tsitsipas quarter. And it's actually not Medvedev's quarter. It's the Ruud quarter. Let's get straight here. Rublev could play Shapovalov in the third round. That would be a great rematch of their amazing US Open, I believe, third round, which went to 5 sets, 5th set tiebreaker. That was a great match for both players, really. Matteo Berrettini, 20th seed, could play Cam Norrie in the third round. Francis Tiafoe, 14th seed. could play Dimitrov. Then we got Maxime Cressy, the 32 seed, always dangerous. Maybe not as much on these courts. Potentially playing Stefanos Tsitsipas in the 3rd round. So there you go. That's the draw. That's the draw without Djokovic, without Nadal, probably with some other players that I'm forgetting. But it looks like a great tournament. I can't wait to see what happens. But it just feels like it's lacking that overarching storyline. I guess the big storyline for me would be, where is Carlos Alcaraz at 1 year later? I think this is kind of really when the Alcaraz train picked up full speed in 2022. It was when it got to the level of, oh my gosh, this kid is insane. He played well in Indian Wells, but then he won Miami, and then he just went on that tear through the clay season. So where is he going to be at going into the swing? Is it going to be like Nadal, where he's always suspect coming into the Australian Open, and then going into clay, he always finds his physicality and starts dominating? We'll see. I hope it's the case that Alcaraz can just be there week in, week out, playing the biggest tournaments. Because if we just go to the tour here, not Infosys, if we just go, while I have you, if we just go to the tour website here and go to rankings, tournaments played, Djokovic 15, Carlos only 18, Stefanos 21, Casper Ruud 24, Taylor Fritz 23, 25, 26. So these guys are playing way more tournaments than Felix 27, like he's an animal. They're playing way more tournaments than Carlos, who's only 19. I guess that's probably due to some injury woes, but I do think Carlos's team is trying to respect the schedule and trying to not to overplay him, but he's still getting injured. So it is a concern, but we will see where he's at, what level he comes out with. It's smart that he skipped Acapulco, and I think he's ready to do some damage in Indian Wells. So I'm excited to see Indian Wells go down, although they are missing some star power in the media. Shameless plug. And with the best player on planet Earth, Novak Djokovic, not being there. So we will have to watch that without them. But anyways, thanks guys for being here. This has been The Slice, and enjoy Indian Wells. Keep it locked here on my Twitter right here for match reactions, etc., etc. You know what it is. This has been The Slice.